Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our Full Gospel March meeting. And I'm sure by now you've heard the very sad news of Peter Muller's passing. Peter has been a member of Full Gospel Business for over 25 years and has attended these South meetings in one form or another for over 25 years. So for those of you who have joined us for the last 1, 2 or 3 years, Pete's was coming along for over 25. So we're actually going to commence the meeting this morning by paying a tribute to Pete. For he just had such a love and a passion for people and a very long connection with Full Gospel Business. So after the tribute, we're going to get back to our meeting, and then we're going to ask everybody to lift their spirits up so we can have a great meeting of networking and time together. So as part of the tribute, I'd like to invite Rodney Harris and Rod Winner to the podium, who will say a few words each. So would Rod and Rodney come to the podium, please? Come up together. We probably need to support each other a bit. So I've asked Rod and Rodney, who both have over 25 years service, have been members for 25, well, back in corporate mode, have been members for over 25 years. And have really known Peter well. And I might just ask Rodney if you'd like to just share a few words about your relationship and your time with Peter.
Yeah, well, excuse me, I've got to read just so that I keep on track. I first met Peter when I joined the FGB in 1997, and Peter greeted everybody with just an amazing smile and a hug. You know, it's just nothing like that really warm hug, and a handshake that was really firm, sometimes almost too firm. But just a lovely man. He played an important part in the Adelaide South chapter, and he assisted in several areas, both in the state meetings and national. Rod will have more to say about that later. His wife Lesley did an amazing job as the national secretary for the Full Gospel Business. And then when I retired as the president, Peter took on the leadership for several years, and we had many great meetings in their business facility, and that was just fabulous that they opened that and invited everyone along. Peter and Lesley were under a lot of pressure managing their business. It was really full on, but his passion for the kingdom ministry enabled him to find incredible energy, just amazing. For many projects, including being on a committee to establish the Entrepreneur's Prayer Breakfast. And Peter and Lesley put in a huge effort to make that function a great success. Peter was just a true brother in Christ.
Thanks, Rodney.
Thanks, Rod. Yes, well, thanks to the leadership of the breakfast and FGB for allowing us to come and share these couple of thoughts with you this morning. It is a tribute, and it's a pleasure to be here in one sense, and sad in another sense, of course, because Lorna and I have known and had the privilege of knowing Peter and Lesley for over 25 years, and in fact I was reflecting last night, it's probably closer to 30 years. So you get to know people really well, especially when you work with them for that amount of time. And I've worked alongside Peter for almost all of those years in FGB. He held many positions, as Rodney has said, and nothing was ever too hard for Peter. If you asked him to do something, he would just do it. It was never too hard. And as Rodney's also said, has always had that smile, always happy, always, just love people, love life. That's Peter. I remember him going around Australia with the Kidney Foundation some years ago, and we were rolling out a membership program at that time, or partnership program, and Peter said, I can do that when I travel all around Australia. And true to the word, he went to every chapter in every state in Australia, rolling that program out, sleeping his little Hyundai, I'll still never forget it, sleeping on the side of the road sometimes, hosted other times, but just did an amazing work, and we still have that partnership program today as a legacy for Pete. He loved the sports mountain, especially football, and we'd have lots of chats about that, and we all know his passion for football and integrity of sport goes without saying. And I still remember that function in the Bradman room at Adelaide Oval that Pete organised. It was amazing. And then we were able to go down and pray near the scoreboard at Adelaide Oval. Pete just had that way with people to get permission to do those sort of things. Normally you can't do that, but he got permission to do that. He was always busy, but he loved spending time with Lesley and the children and grandchildren, and he's left a great legacy. And I made a couple of notes. Pete, you run a great race. You're passing that to us well. So we need to make sure that we finish well. And Lesley, one of her texts, and it really struck me, was she says, to know him was to love him. How true was that?
Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was just a very short tribute to Pete, but there will be a celebration of his life. We'll put an email out if you haven't seen it on Lesley's Facebook. Thursday, the 31st of March, 1 p.m. at Harvest Church, for anyone that can join us. And that will be, I'm sure, a really wonderful time to celebrate Pete's life.